and welcome back to the Art2Life podcast. I'm in Playa del Carmen. I've been traveling for a few months now, teaching retreats and getting inspired and doing all kinds of interesting projects while traveling. And so, I'm constantly packing and unpacking and adjusting things. And so today I thought I would share with you sort of the artistry of travel. And I love this subject, and I'm actually fairly good at it now because I've been doing it so much in my life. But I want to break this down and make it pretty simple for you guys. And there's kind of two parts. First part, both has to do with what to bring, right? I want to talk about the mindset here of travel, which might be interesting and inspiring for some of you. And then also the obvious what to bring and how to bring it, from all the, if you need technology, the clothes, the packing, the suitcases, all that. And I've created a checklist, the checklist that I use for myself. I kind of cleaned it up, and I'll share it with you in the show notes as well. If you get one kind of cool tip from this, and I will try to just, keep it brief and go over this, but the checklist will really have more information on it. So check that out as well. Okay, so let's just dive into the first section of this thing around what to bring in terms of mindset. And I just want to share with you how I think about travel, not so much like vacation, more like travel and the difference. But my whole orientation around creativity and art making has to do with feeling more inspired. And I've shared this a lot on the podcast. And this comes from differences, putting yourself in different places, experiencing new things, focusing on what brings you alive. And traveling is nothing but that. It's really an attempt to go out into the world and experience things, see different things. And, if you find yourself in an environment that is completely foreign for you, there's scary things, but really positive things that come as a result of that. And the main thing is that you learn new things about yourself. You experience all kinds of new things, opens your eyes to the possibilities. It really gets the wheels turning in terms of creativity. I'm looking right now at one of my favorite birds that's up there. It's a frigate bird. They're people have their totem animals, and these frigate birds are one of mine. So I think that's pretty auspicious. This thing's just floating up there right now. Anyway, so let's just dive into this mindset. So you're looking to go to places to enhance yourself, right? I love this. We use an amazing travel agent. That's an understatement. Her name's Julia Fisher, and she works with us because she understands what I love. She understands the brand of Art2Life, and she helps us find amazing places in the world to do retreats and to travel. And her message is, you have to get lost to find yourself. That's one of her taglines, which I absolutely love. I know that she worked with Cherie Healy, my partner and love, on her branding, but that messaging is so beautiful. You have to get lost to find yourself. And this is, in a way, when we set off into new terrain in our art, this is how we grow. This is how we become more, how our art improves, how we improve. There's always a degree of going into the unknown. And as I sit here in Playa del Carmen, we're about to begin a 7-day retreat. I am looking down the beaches here. I've never been to this part of the world, and I am really excited to explore it and also teach here. So I choose destinations, places I want to go, around how I want to feel. What do these places feel like? What can I go there and experience this? Do I want to teach there? Can we bring other people there? How will that improve their art? Do you love the colors? Do you love the water? What's the vibe? All those things. And I think this is a great way to decide where you want to go based on how you want to feel. It's not unlike your art. Starting from the place of how you want to feel will dictate a lot of what you want to do, instead of thinking about, I want to make a painting of a certain thing, if you connect to the feeling of it, it's often gives you some really good answers and helps guide the process. So being free on a trip is really important. So I am a great believer in taking as little as possible. Ease of movement is a priority, right? I'm not talking about vacations where you just want to go and plop on a beach and rest. And I think there's tremendous value in that. And yes, and definitely that's part of traveling, just completely getting away and relaxing. And that's always part of it. But this is more of a traveler mindset. There is a reset, but it's this change that re-energizes you. And there's going to be hard patches on a trip like this. There's always difficulty, but it's this revitalization of you that comes from change and experiencing new and different things that increases your frequency, that raises your energy, that allows you to do more things, that it gives you ideas. And so to bring as little as possible, is for ease of movement. So you're not carrying tons of stuff. And I'll dive in the second part here. I'll dive into like what to bring and the luggage and all of that. I don't try to plan it all ahead of time. I wait till I'm on the actual trip to do so. I need to have first 3 or 4 days planned where I'm staying. And then after that, I figure it out more as I go a little bit. Also, in general, I travel in low season of places. So if you're going to Venice during the height of summer, when every tourist is there, your mobility is going to be really restricted. You have to book everything up 9 months in advance. It's impossible. So know that what I'm sharing and when I'm going is a big part of why it's possible there's usually vacancies. You usually can get in. There's less people. It's just easier to explore. And it's amazing to go to places when there's less people. So you have to kind of think about that when you're going. I find my way by talking to people who are here. People who are here know of all the cool places to go because they live here. It's different than asking other tourists at home, oh, where'd you go when you were down in Tulum? They'll tell you the places, and you can find cool things that way. And obviously you research and go online, and I'll go into that a bit more. But really the great things are discovered because of the local people that live here. A few guiding ideas is to walk more instead of taking Uber everywhere or cabbing. Just walk more. You're going to see more. Go out in the morning, early in the morning, and stop in places that look cool. Like go and sit in that cafe and stay there. And it's amazing. Like just sitting and watching the world kind of pass by you is a powerful way to experience a place. We can get caught up in going to destination, or trying to hit all these tourist sites. You really want to feel the place. So I do that a lot. Every meal, every cafe, like you can just stay there all day practically. And if it's good, you can learn so much and experience so much. So basically the idea is if you love a place, to consider staying there longer. Right? If you're in a place you've never been and the little town's amazing, you don't need to drive to other towns to see other amazing towns because you have this mindset that I'm only going to be here once in my life and I better see every single thing that everyone talks about. I don't really propone that. I don't think that's like the best strategy. It's stressful and it's usually not that fun, right? Trying to see every single thing. You can experience a place just by sitting in it. There's this great saying in windsurfing. I used to do a lot of windsurfing, and it's a lot of logistics to get to a place. And if there's wind and it's pretty good, you should stay there. And the motto is, the temptation is, it might be better someplace down the beach, another drive someplace else. But so often is the case, at least in windsurfing and other things as well, it's usually not as good. And you're leaving something that's pretty good to hope to find something that's better, and sometimes it's a complete fail. So the motto is don't leave wind to find wind. And I just love that. Just stay in it. And so that's another idea. I also share on Instagram what I'm doing. And I know that there's Art2Life, and I'm just sharing what you're doing because it connects with all these people. And many times I find this almost every trip I go on, there's people that are following you that live in these places, and they'll reach out and say, oh my God, I'm so glad you're here. Let's meet, or, hey, you should go see this place. I get the best recommendations from people that I didn't even know were in these places. So do share that. That's another cool tip. The other cool tip has to do with identity. And again, identity of ourselves. And we're going on these trips. We're going to these places because it brings in new information. If you spend time in different places, you become more global. You become broader in your thinking. You just can't help it. The clothes you wear, the possibilities for yourself, everything is broadened. So trips are a great time when you're away to be thinking about identity, to be thinking about what's your next steps? Who do you want to become to do whatever you want to create? What does your art want to be? I know that from people I've worked with, they're a big challenge for a lot of people who are doing art is just claiming themselves as artists because maybe they've been bankers their whole lives and they're come to me and the coaches and Art2Life because they're trying to move into art. And for them, for example, a really big step for them is claiming that they're an artist, believing that and actually sharing it. So when you're on a trip and you're meeting people, you can try on things, Oh, where are you from? Oh, what do you do? Well, I'm an artist. Just actually say that instead of the banker job that you don't really want to stay in, and see how you feel, right? Nobody knows you. You get to be different. And I just invite that in, as part of the way to be thinking about a trip. So, and obviously, in terms of, fortifying yourself, it's clean food, man. I'm not a huge drinker. It's not about partying for me. It's about feeling amazing. And whatever that is for you, however you just double down on that, all these places, eating the fresh local ingredients, trying the amazing foods that people in these places eat because it's available and it works is a really cool thing to dip into. But ultimately, you do more of what feels good. And I do that at home, but I double down on that on a trip. There's always gyms in all the places in all the world. There's always a way to get the workout in and do the physical stuff, the runs, the hikes, the walks, really build that in to the trip. I don't think of travel as separate from my life. I think it's a very potent, powerful part of my life, and it reinforces what I'm doing in my life almost more than my normal at-home life. So, I've seen that, that it's always possible. Oh, there's no gym here. I can walk down the beach. There's another hotel, and for $20 they'll let you use it. There's always ways. Ask local people. Where's a cool place to walk? Where's a great place to run? Can you get bikes here? Taking photos constantly. Another powerful way to see and experience a place. These iPhones are amazing. So, I'm constantly doing that. That's just a great thing to go do. Take photographs for half an hour. Go and really drop into the presence of being here and document it and photograph it and notice what you notice. This is a powerful way to bring it back, to contain it and bring it back into your art. It's presence, right? It's presence that you're cultivating. When you are in a new place, you're awakened. You notice things, you notice the birds, you're seeing different things, and it feels amazing. Cares drop away because you're present. It's not different than art making. Art making brings us into that presence. This is an artful way of being, this traveling, right? In regards to finding your way a little bit and finding places. What I do is you can scan areas. I use booking.com. It's a great app. I don't book through there, but these aggregate sites, so you can get a view of all the hotels, all the places to stay, and then you can research it more in detail. And if I do book something, you want to do it through the actual website of the hotel, so you're dealing with a human being. I don't tend to do things through Expedia or these bigger sites, but I definitely use them generally for sourcing and finding. And then as well as getting recommendation websites, really cool websites that you love, that recommend places that have a similar aesthetic, same kind of vibe that you're looking for. Those are really, really great as well. And there's one more thing that I use so much, just remembering that wherever the hotel is that you're staying that night, you can arrive at 6 a.m. and they will store your stuff, and they'll store it even after you check out. And I use this feature constantly. We always think we have to be out by 11 and frantically grab our stuff and go to the next place. You don't. You can leave your things for days. I've left for a week before from Paris and been in Greece and left all my things, and they'll hold it if you're coming back to the hotel. So know that you've got these storage lockers, so to speak, in terms of these hotels, and it gives you flexibility so you can figure out where you're kind of going to go next. Now, I want to touch base on, so those are sort of some of the ideas around how I like to travel, but I want to talk here about before you go and just run through some of the things. And there's a checklist for this. But here's some of the big higher level ones. Before you leave, especially if you're gone for a while, and especially if you're trying to work as I do, and just do my normal life as I'm traveling, you want to arrange a person back home who, for a certain amount of an hourly wage or whatever, is familiar with your house, has the keys to your studio, your house, and are ready and willing with a text to go and retrieve something, to get a package, to deal with a leaky faucet. You have to have somebody at your end that can cover things if something arises, because it's super stressful. Things will come up if you're gone for more than a week or two, and you need to have that person on the ground who can help you in person. So that's something you want to arrange. You want to back up everything on your drive that you have on your laptop. So I'll go over it, but I obviously bring a phone, I bring a laptop, but having all your things backed up on a remote drive allows you to access them. You have nothing of importance on your actual laptop. It's all backed up on a cloud. I included in that. So any things you're working on, you don't have it on your laptop. You've got to have a system, and this might take months for you to do if you haven't done it, but it is the only way to go. Have it organized, have it on a drive. We use Google Drive, but everything I have. And part of that is I have an area for travel, but you want to scan all your passport, your driver's license, all the credit cards you're bringing, have that on the drive in case you lose your wallet, and you need to have all that scanned as well. I set up Apple Pay on my phone, and on my actual phone, I have a little, and I'll show you, I have a little card holder on the back of my phone, and it holds a driver's license, a business credit card, and a personal credit card. And it's on my phone all the time. So that's really, really powerful. I also have a wallet where I have a debit card, and I keep that's separate. But those are the things I take. 3 credit cards. What I use are American Express and a MasterCard. Those are business. And then I have a personal credit card. Global entry card, really important. If you can get that, I would do that if you're US. You want to make sure your insurance is current. And there's this great service that your postal service, if you live in the US, does. I think it's free. They can scan all your email, all your snail mail, and you can actually look at it before you even get it. And that's powerful for being remote. You want to You want to cancel your garbage, et cetera. And you want to make sure that your car keys are left in a place when that person, family, friend, somebody can get to if your car needs to be moved or so forth. I've set up a Ring camera on my front door, and this is pretty inexpensive and kind of great. And you can see who comes, you can talk to people at your front door, and you're notified on your phone. There's videos of everybody who comes and goes. It's a really, really inexpensive and powerful way to track what's going on at your house. And you want to make sure also, a little note here, make sure the ATM is working on all your accounts. That's while you're at home. So if there's a problem and the password's not working, you can go in to your actual bank and fix it. It's got to be working. So that's how you're going to be getting cash out when you're on your trip. Okay. So, let me just talk a little bit about, we're moving into the planning stage here around flights. I just want to hit the high level of what I do with flights. I like aisle seats, close to the front. I usually choose bulkhead. I don't always have to get, business class because it's so expensive. I just need some leg room. And if they're close to the front, it's quicker to get in and off. And I will upgrade to those bulkhead seatings. The exit rows, you get more, way more leg room. And it's a really good deal. And, I like aisle seats so you can get in and out really easily. Those lounges in the airport, fantastic. Priority Pass is one of the services you pay for. It's an annual fee, and then you pay a little bit. But these lounges, every airport has them, and they're literally like a home away from home, especially if you're doing any work. It just makes the whole, getting there early now is not a problem. You can eat. They're fantastic. So it's something I've really leaned into in the last few years. TSA, obviously, on all your tickets. So you have that covered. And again, the global entry card is powerful. I also have Clear, which in the US, and I think it's in Europe too, is like you've been pre-screened. So there's less security and usually the lines are shorter there. Now, let me hit on around what to bring. And first, let's talk about what to bring them in the containers. Here's what I use. It's a small roller bag. It's the European size. Away is a brand, the company Away. There's tons of these small roller bags. They have that pull-up handle. They don't hold a lot. They fit in an overhead bin. You do not have to check them, and you can just wheel them around. They're super great. I also have a carry-on bag, and the carry-on bag fits on top of, has a sleeve on the back of it, so it can slide over the handle of the small wheelie bag. Wheelie case, so it's all one thing. You can pull it with one hand, and all of it's carry-on. So never check a bag. I mean, obviously I have to when I'm coming to retreats and we're bringing all the art supplies, but in general, you don't want to ever have to check a bag because it increases the likelihood for delays. People lose stuff. It takes way too much time. Okay. So notes on, and so that carry-on bag is really cool. I like the kind that has, that splits. There's a bottom to it, a zip, and it can hold shoes and art supplies and sketchbooks. And then that zips to the top half of the bag. And then inside that bag, you've got things you can access on the plane. So you can zip off the bottom when you get to your places and you have a smaller bag. But this roller bag, this carry-on bag with the two parts is, really, really powerful. It's a great way to go. Okay. General notes. You want to leave room, right? Do not overpack. You want to make it so it's easy to close these bags. And it's really going to come down to not bringing a lot. You can always buy a thing in the place you're visiting, and it's probably going to be better than the thing you would have brought because you don't know what the place is like till you get there. We always try and figure out what's the best kind of shoes, sandals I need for this place. And you go and you bring what you have at home, and it's like, God, they're selling these sandals here. They're so cheap. It's what everyone's wearing, and they're so much better. And you end up buying a pair anyway. But the sandals you might have brought from home are too hot. I mean, this has happened to me a million times, So sometimes it's just, you can just plan on getting the thing in the place. But When in doubt, leave it behind. I know that sounds crazy, but you never want to have any redundancy ever. You don't need two kinds of things, bring one. And again, I'm looking for ease and movement, and so I don't bring a lot. So this is just me, and I know I'm probably kind of extreme, but it just makes a lot of sense. Not having huge bags, you have to check, carrying those around, trying to move them, being on buses, whatever. You don't need it. And you don't need all that luggage. You don't need 9 outfits, right? When you're checking in and you're getting in line for the plane, you want to, however, even if you're carrying on your stuff, you want to, however, have get to the more front of that line, be paying attention, because if you get on the plane and they run out of overhead bins, then they store your baggage underneath the plane, and then you're back in the delays. They've lost stuff before. You want to keep your stuff with you at all times. This is general policy. I put air tags, those little devices, in both of my bags. I never leave my bags. They're always with me, but I can tell where they are if I do get separated from them using those air tags. Those are great. Okay, so let's just go over. I'm going to cover what is in these, what I'm in these bags. So this roller bag, right? There's 2 sides. It's basically your suitcase. I only bring the clothes that feel good that I want to wear. You really want to be picky and really enjoy the things you bring. Less, but better. Layering is a key idea, that you don't need to bring a heavy coat, because if you have 2 shirts already, and a pullover, that's going to be the equivalent of a coat. So you don't need that redundancy. You check the climate before you go, you guys, so you really know what the place is like, what the climate's like. You can just totally dial it in. You can dial it in, and as it gets closer, you can check the real climate, not the suggested climate. So you can figure out that temperature and only bring what you need for that climate. So that clothing. So on the left-hand side, right, there's 2 sides to this clamshell. On the left-hand side is all your clothes. And how I like to pack is this technique here where I fold the clothes up, but squish them almost like an accordion. This allows you to put more in. So there's a compression. I'm not using a compression bag. I'm not folding it like in a drawer. I'm folding it in almost like a Rolodex, and I'm putting all the clothes, squishing them all, and it creates a really great, efficient way to put a lot more shirts and clothes in one side of the bag. So I've got a checklist of, what I bring, and it's going to be different for everyone. But generally, if I am going to bring a jacket, I'm going to bring a down jacket, because they're so damn light and they compress. And those are so totally warm. So if you are going to a place where the weather is unpredictable, that's a really good thing to bring as well. I'm not going to go over, running shorts, 2 pairs of shorts, 3 pairs of underwear and all that. But in general, I'll wash clothes, have a few versions. I definitely go long on shirts. I have more of those. And I wash stuff. I'll have 2 pairs of running shorts. I wash one's drying. I can use the other. It just takes like 5 minutes to wash a couple things in the sink as you go, leave them to dry, and then you're good to go. In terms of shoes, I usually bring 3. I have a pair of kind of like boots, ankle boots that I wear for like walking around cities, and I'll go to the airport in them. And then I'll bring a pair of running shoes. So those I can kick around in those. I can run with those. And I bring a pair of flip-flops. Usually these are sandals, or I'll buy a pair of flip-flops or sandals when I'm at the place. So, those are the 3 I bring. My feet are really big, so I can't really bring a lot of shoes, but those cover it. I've never had a problem. So that's the left side, just those clothes. On the right side of the clamshell, I bring a portable music player. This is obviously a personal preference. I love music and I want to have good sound wherever I am. So I bring that. That's something I make space for. This is where I'd put the flip-flops. This is where I'll have a baseball cap. I'll have my bag of toiletries, which, includes the supplements, your prescriptions, your toothpaste, sunscreen. I've got a checklist for all these things. So that's what's on the right-hand side of that clamshell. And that I can close that and it's pretty good. And I still have my carry-on. That carries almost as much stuff, that the carry-on bag carries almost as much stuff as the actual roller bag. So the top part of the carry-on bag contains all the things you're going to need, for example, that are easy to access, like if you're on the plane. It also has an outside pocket with a zip, and I'll share the brand of this bag that I use right now. It's great. You want this outside pocket that zips, so it's easy access for your passport, your boarding pass, all the stuff you're constantly having to get when you're at the airport. And you need it safe and it needs to be secure. And so this little pocket is critical to have. You don't want to be rifling through things. You can lose stuff. In the airports, it needs to be really contained. And you've got two bags, and they come together as one when they attach. You put the roller bag on the carry-on bag slips on top of the roller bag. And when you're in the airport, that's just one unit. You can just pull it. And having that little zip on the top of the carry-on bag, that little zip pocket's really important. Okay, here's what's in the top part. I have my laptop, and if I need to put my iPhone in there, usually that's in my pocket, but so I've got my laptop, I've got the charge cords and the converter, right? You need a converter for many countries. I have the phone charger and the converter. And what I carry, which I think is crazy, but it's a little bulky, but it is the most important thing I carry, is one of these power strips. So if I'm in a cafe, I can charge a bunch of stuff. I just need a plug, and it allows me to sit next to a plug, but I don't have to be right on it. I can be 5 feet away. And then I can put this power strip down. I can plug my phone into it. I can plug my laptop. It's crazy, but it's the coolest thing to bring. And if you get nothing out of this episode, but this really makes a difference, especially for those of us who are actually working while we're away. I want to just hit the apps that I use for the phone and the laptop. Time Buddy. This allows you to see all the different time zones. It's able to see at home what time it is and see in the different cities. If you have a team like I do, where there's people in different time zones, it's called Time Buddy. It's fantastic. And it's really simple to interface. You want your workout app, right? Like tracking that, it just comes with you. WhatsApp is the greatest communication device that all countries use. It seems to be the default global messaging app. So make sure you have that set up. Obviously Spotify for music. I use a notes app on my phone, constantly adding things. It's just really great to have that with you all the time. The notes app comes with your Apple platform, right? It's just called Notes. Uber, Lyft, those are pretty much available everywhere in the world. Your airlines that you're on, get the app versions because they send notifications and allows you to track your suitcases or luggage or if things get lost. Make sure your phone service plan is a good one, because if you end up in a country and you don't have a plan, they charge a lot. So this should be in the before you go, make sure that your phone your service is provided. It might be a minimal charge, but if you do it ahead of time, you won't be surprised. I want to just touch on this zip pocket in the top of this carry-on bag. You're going to have your passport and your wallet is kept in there, and you never change that. It's always kept there. If you take it out, you put it back. Take it out, put it, it's always there. And it's super easy access. When you're charging with these credit cards, you usually, they'll say, do you want to convert it or not? Convert it to euros or not? You want to pay in US dollars, I hear, because that exchange rate is already decided. If you tell them, oh, just pay with the credit card in euros, then when the charge comes through, the bank will convert it for you to US dollars, and then that rate is whatever they want to charge, and it's not very favorable to you. So if you say US dollars, it's done at the day rate, and I think that's a better way to go. This is what I've heard. I've never really had too much of a problem, but I'm always asked that question by restaurants, and I generally now have been told just have it converted right then and there to your currency wherever you're from. I carry 2 pens in that pocket. And so those are the things you're always needing, kind of some pens to sign things. You got your wallet, your credit card, your passport, and your boarding pass. Critical documents, they're always in that pocket, always. Okay. Also in this top of this carry-on bag is the technology stuff. I bring a pair of headphones like Beats. Apple's got like amazing ones, the kind that you put on your ear so you can control the environment. Charger cord for that. Kindle is amazing because it's like a piece of paper and you can read 1,000 books. Charge cord for that. I like to bring a little wired earbuds for my phone. Sometimes you'll lose your headphones or whatever, but many times you need to take a call, and those are really great for that, and they weigh nothing. And again, I mentioned the power strip. That has a bunch of plugs in it. You can get them where your phone can plug into it, all that. I carry it in this bag as well, because so many times you're at the airport, you can't find a plug, or you can't sit next to it, and this thing's a game changer. Sunglasses, your glasses. I keep my sketchbook, super valuable to me, in the top part. I always want to access it. Now, the bottom part is the part underneath this carry-on bag, and this is where you can put bigger technology. So I have things like a selfie stick in there. I'm always filming stuff. I have a stand-up stand that holds a phone. So those are things that a lot of people wouldn't need, but for my work, I need those. I have usually like a pullover. I put my running shoes in this part of it, right? They're dirty, they're big. I put them in there. I have a small portable light that I bring. It's great for filming. That's really good. Baseball hat. And that's pretty much, and then I also have my art supplies. So as I said, the art supplies are also in the bottom part of this roller bag, a part of this carry-on bag. The top part has my sketchbook, but the bottom part has my supplies. So these are, I take an X-Acto knife, I take the blade out of it and tape it somewhere next to it. Don't put it in as a bladed thing. They'll be flagged, but just as I bring an X-Acto blade and I just have those little blades and the handle, I keep them separate. I bring a mechanical pencil. I bring 6 brushes, a glue stick, a Sharpie, a watercolor set, mechanical pencil, and a small amount. You can choose it. Certainly the primaries. I usually bring like 15 colors, small 2 to 3 ounces of acrylic paint, including black and white. And that's what I use to paint in my sketchbook. So all of those things are included, and they would be part of my art kit. And so that's about it. That's all you need. So I can do art, I can photograph art, I can film it, I can do everything I need to do while I'm away and kind of keep rolling. So, again, I have that checklist. Obviously if you bring 9 shirts or 4 shirts, it's up to you. But this is just how I found it to be incredibly efficient. And what I notice is that there's no burnout. Like, I've been gone now for a couple months and I feel just like I do at home. I'm not missing anything. I feel great at home and I feel great when I'm traveling because all my needs are met. I've got the conditions. I've set up the conditions. I brought them with me to feel really amazing and to feel inspired. And being away gives me more inspiration. So anyway, you guys, I appreciate you being here, and I check out that checklist, and I hope this was really helpful. All right, you guys, thanks so much. And I will see you later on the next Art2Life podcast. Thanks so much. Bye.